Turn it up. Big wheels keep on turning, carry me home to smile.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Bloomington, Illinois. I'm a freshman at ASU studying entrepreneurship at the W.P. Carey School.
What was it like moving so far away to go to college?
It was definitely a new experience. I actually had never been to Arizona before orientation, but I've seen plenty of pictures and I've heard a lot of great things. It was definitely difficult moving so far away from my family. I had lived in the Midwest my entire life, and my entire life, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, my family members were 2 hours away at the most. And living without my parents, I would consider myself an independent person, I guess, until I moved out here, and then I realized how much I really do rely on my parents and my family, and it was hard to get used to because I'm used to being with my entire extended family all the time too. Seeing them like twice a year is kind of scary. It was definitely interesting experience. I chose ASU because of WP Carey School of Business. It's one of the top business schools in the country, and the weather was definitely a deciding factor also because the weather in Illinois is horrible, and it's not so much in Arizona.
What was the actual moving in process like?
It was definitely hectic. My family and I couldn't decide whether we wanted to try to pack up the car and drive the entire 2 days out here or if we wanted to try to fly. Ultimately, we decided to fly, and we shipped most of my things via UPS home to home, where they picked it up right at my house and delivered it to my dorm room. They make it sound like a really simple and easy process, but it wasn't actually that easy. I packed up most of my things and basically had at my house for the end of the summer I was living out of just what I could bring on the plane to come here. All the rest of my stuff was here. When I finally arrived, none of my stuff was actually here because they had lost all of my boxes
What were your first
temporarily.
thoughts of your roommate?
Well, I met my first roommate at orientation and we got along really well. We hit it off great. We didn't really know each other before, but we texted back and forth and picked out things for our room and figured it all out. When we got here, we ended up being the best of friends. We hung out constantly. She was definitely my best friend here. But then ultimately, she decided that she didn't really like being so far away from her family. She was actually from North Carolina, so it was even farther for her than it was for me. So she decided that she didn't want to stay out here and it was too much for her. So then I got a new roommate second semester who that one did not work out as well. She ended up, typical roommate horror story. She stole all my clothes and things like that, brought weird people back to the room, but ultimately it worked out. She ended up moving out and living with some other people, so it worked out well in the end.
What was the hardest thing to get used to for you living in the dorms?
I think the hardest thing would be not having a car and not having a job. I worked all through high school, and so I had money to just kind of spend on things like going out to eat and shopping, I guess. But when I came out here, I didn't have a car, and so my choices of jobs were pretty limited. And I didn't really want an on campus job. My mom didn't want me to get a job at first because she wanted me to focus on school. So I would definitely say that needing things and then not having a car to go and just jump in the car and get them and then spend money on it was definitely the hardest thing to get used to.
Turn it